Before cities, before empires, before history itself, there was a hand pressed against stone. No alphabet, no grammar, no words, just a human being saying, "I was here." Every message you've ever read, every text you've ever typed, every story ever told begins in darkness on cave walls tens of thousands of years ago. This is the story of how humanity learned to make thought permanent. Long before writing existed, humans lived entirely in the moment. Knowledge survived only as long as memory allowed. Stories were spoken, rituals repeated, and lessons passed from mouth to ear. When a generation died, so did most of what it knew. Then something extraordinary happened. Around 40,000 years ago, early humans began painting symbols inside caves, animals, hands, abstract marks. These were not decorations, they were communication. They recorded hunts, beliefs, seasons, and warnings. For the first time, information could outlive the speaker. This was humanity's first breakthrough. External memory. Writing did not begin as language. It began as survival. As humans settled into agricultural societies, memory alone was no longer enough. Farming required calendars. Trade required accounting. Ownership required proof. In Mesopotamia, around 3200 BCE, clay tablets replaced cave walls. Sumerian scribes pressed wedge-shaped marks cuneiform into wet clay. Each symbol represented goods, numbers, or actions. Writing was born not from poetry, but from bureaucracy. Only a tiny elite could write. Literacy meant power. Writing decided who owned land, who owed taxes, and who answered to whom. The pen had not yet become mighty, but it had become dangerous. Meanwhile, in Egypt, writing evolved into hieroglyph symbols that blended sound, meaning, and art. Writing here was sacred. Words were believed to carry divine power. To write something down was to make it eternal. In China, characters emerged carved onto oracle bones. These symbols connected writing to the cosmos, fate, and authority. In Mesoamerica, the Maya developed complex glyph systems to record astronomy, kingship, and time itself. Across the world, civilizations independently reached the same conclusion. To rule the future, you must control the written past. Then came the alphabet, one of the most radical ideas in human history. Instead of hundreds of symbols, Phoenician traders reduced writing to a few dozen sounds. This made literacy faster, cheaper, and transferable. The Greeks refined it. The Romans spread it. Writing was no longer just for priests and kings. It was for merchants, soldiers, and citizens. But materials still mattered. Papyrus was fragile. Parchment was expensive. Writing remained slow and labor-intensive. A single book could take years to copy by hand. Knowledge moved at the speed of walking. That changed in the 15th century. Johannes Gutenberg's printing press did not invent printing, but it democratized it. Movable type transformed writing from a craft into a system. Books multiplied. Literacy exploded. Ideas traveled faster than armies. This single machine shattered religious monopolies, fueled scientific revolutions, and made mass education possible. Writing was no longer controlled, it was contagious. By the 19th century, writing became industrial. Typewriters standardized letters. Newspapers shaped public opinion daily. Forms, contracts, manuals, and letters flooded society. Writing became mechanical, efficient, and impersonal. And then, quietly, writing became digital. Keyboards replaced ink. Screens replaced paper. Words could be deleted, copied, transmitted instantly across the planet. Writing no longer required permanence. It became fluid, temporary, endless. For the first time in history, humanity writes more than it speaks. Writing reshaped how humans think. Studies show that written language reorganized memory, logic, and abstract reasoning. Writing allowed laws instead of violence, science instead of myth, and history instead of legend. But it also created distance. Bureaucracy replaced trust. Records replaced relationships. Algorithms now decide which words are seen and which are buried. Today, writing is everywhere, but meaning feels thinner. Messages are faster, shorter, and disposable. The same tool that once preserved civilization now risks overwhelming it. Yet the power remains the same. Writing still defines identity. It still builds movements. It still topples governments. It still allows a single voice to echo across centuries. Every time you type a sentence, you are participating in the oldest human technology still in use. From fire-lit caves to glowing screens, writing has followed us, changing shape, but never purpose. It is how we remember who we are. It is how we speak to the future. And long after keyboards fade, something will remain. A mark, a symbol, a message saying, "We were here."